The Blackened Veil, the rain fell in relentless sheets over the city of Brenton, a place where neon lights drowned in puddles of oil and blood. The skyscrapers, proud but decaying, stretched like bones into a cloud-suffocated sky. Brenton was alive, but it was not breathing, it was gasping, coughing on its own corruption. Detective Mara Vey knew that better than anyone. Her badge was tarnished, her reputation stained. Once praised as the most brilliant detective of the Brenton Police Department, Mara had been cast aside, framed for a crime she hadn't committed. Betrayed by her own partner, silenced by the very people who were meant to uphold the law, she was forced into hiding. For 5 long years, she disappeared, erased from the city she once vowed to protect. But ghosts don't stay buried. Mara returned not to reclaim her honor, but to burn the rot out of Brenton. She came back with a single mission: revenge. Part I, the return the night she returned, Brenton barely noticed. Another shadow among shadows. She wore a hood that hid her face and boots that echoed in alleys where rats reigned. The same streets that once knew her as a hero now knew her only as prey. But she wasn't prey. Her first step was simple: find Vincent Cade, her ex-partner, the man who betrayed her, the man who put a bullet in her shoulder and left her for dead in a warehouse fire. Vincent wasn't just alive, he was thriving. Had climbed the ranks of the underworld, now a lieutenant for Brenton's most powerful crime lord, Julian Roth. Mara had once fought to put Roth behind bars. Now, the 2 men who had destroyed her life sat at the top of the city's rotting food chain. That would change. Party blood in the alleys, Mara struck first at Roth's men, dismantling his operations one by one. A shipment of illegal weapons. Burned. A gambling den filled with Roth's lieutenants. Bombed. A crooked councilman in Roth's pocket. Exposed. The city whispered about a phantom. A shadow in the alleys. A woman with eyes like burning steel and a blade quicker than thought. The Blackened Veil, they called her. Vincent Cade heard the whispers too. At first, he dismissed them. But as more of Roth's empire fell apart, his arrogance cracked. When one of his closest bodyguards was found hanging from a bridge with a note pinned to his chest, I remember Vincent finally understood. Mara was alive, and she was coming for him. Part 3, the game of lies, but revenge was never simple. The closer Mara drew to Vincent, the more she uncovered. It wasn't just Vincent who had betrayed her. The conspiracy ran deeper. Judges, police captains, politicians all had been complicit in burying her case. She wasn't framed by one man, she was silenced by a machine. Julian Roth's empire was the spine of that machine, and Vincent Cade was only the knife it wielded. Mara needed allies. She found them in unexpected places: an investigative journalist named Leila Monroe, hungry for truth, a hacker known only as Wraith, who despised Roth's monopoly on Brenton's underground, and Detective Rourke, one of the few uncorrupted cops left in the city. Together, they built a plan not just to kill Vincent, but to collapse Roth's empire brick by brick. Part IV, firestorm, the war tore through Brenton. Mara's crusade wasn't silent anymore. Explosions rocked Roth's warehouses. Streets became battlegrounds. Bodies stacked higher with each passing night. The people of Brenton began to whisper her name not with fear, but with reverence. A vigilante. A ghost of justice. But Mara knew the truth: this wasn't justice. This was vengeance. And vengeance demanded blood. Finally, she cornered Vincent Cade. The same warehouse where he had betrayed her 5 years ago was now the stage of their reckoning. You should stay dead, Mara, Vincent sneered, a pistol in his hand. And you, she whispered, raising her blade, should shot me in the head. Their fight was brutal, savage, fueled not by skill, but by years of hate. In the end, Mara's blade sank into his chest, and Vincent crumpled like the coward he was. But killing him didn't bring her peace, because Roth still lived, and the machine still turned. Part V, the last betrayal. The closer Mara got to Roth, the more dangerous the game became. Her allies began to vanish. Wraith disappeared without a trace. Leila was silenced with a car bomb. Detective Rourke was found dead in his own home, the words traitor carved into his wall. And then Mara discovered the truth. The person who orchestrated her downfall 5 years ago, the one who pulled Vincent's strings, wasn't Roth. It was Captain Eleanor Briggs, her former mentor, the woman who had once taught her everything she knew. Briggs had sold Mara out, trading her life for power within Roth's empire. It wasn't just betrayal. It was personal. Part VI Ashes. The final confrontation wasn't in the shadows. It was in the heart of Brenton, at Roth's tower of fortress of glass and steel. Mara carved her way through guards, drenched in blood and fire, until she stood before Roth and Briggs. Roth laughed when he saw her, an echo of arrogance that had ruled Brenton for decades. "You can't kill me," he said. "I am this city." Mara shot him in the throat. Briggs begged, tried to justify, tried to explain, but Mara's silence was louder than any words. She left Briggs broken, but alive, forced to live with the wreckage of her betrayal. And when it was over, Mara stood at the top of the burning tower, the city below watching as flames painted the sky. The Blackened Veil had become more than vengeance. She had become legend. But legends don't rest, because Brenton was still broken, and someone had to carry the fire.